All right, well, we're back for another unfortunate update on one of the most well-known celebrities. If not, I'd say Kanye West is like up there in like the top 3 to 5 most well-known celebrities. You could probably go to like a random village in the middle of like Siberia and walk up to some random like Russian guy like harvesting his potatoes from the permafrost and be like, "Hey, have you ever heard of Kanye West?" And he would be like,
Oh, yes, I have heard of Kanye West. He is the one who made the song that goes, I I'm a sick fuck. I like a quick fuck.
uh,
We love that song over here in Mother Russia.
I don't know. I'm pretty certain that like Kanye West is pretty well known. Which is why it is so troubling that he is seemingly falling into a more and more delusion-driven, politically charged, anti-Semitic, possibly fascistic, like, phase, I guess you could say. And the worst part about it is that his cult fan base is becoming way more political as time goes by. Like, he's always had like a very, very hardcore fan base. You could argue even borderline cultish, especially since his stuff started to become more weird and religious. Like, the he's had some pretty, like, he's been getting a little weirder the last couple years. And his fan base, at least the ones that like defend him die hard, have also gotten weirder. Who would have thought? Now though, it's going from like him and his fans being weird to him and his fans being like white supremacists and neo-Nazis. But it's getting even weirder, and that's what I'm going to be talking about a little bit later on. But first, if you're wondering like where all of this crazy shit with Kanye West started, well, he's always kind of been fucking crazy. Like I'm be real, I've gone back to videos from like 15 years ago on YouTube that bring up Kanye, and they all mention something that indicates that he is not in his right mind. You know? I watched a video the other day that talked about like in 2003, he had a fish tank, like an $800,000 fish tank installed in his bathroom so he could look at the fishies while he's pooping and peeing and taking baths. And that is actually part of where the South Park got the gay fish joke, by the way. That was back in 2003 where he insisted that he could look at the fishies while he takes his baths, his bubble baths. That's actually real. And no, the bath did not have a shower, so this motherfucker was taking bubble baths and looking at the fishies. Now, I'm not saying that's a sign of delirium or insanity. All I'm saying is, considering where he is now, it doesn't exactly look like this escalated out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It feels like he's always been kind of a a goofy guy, right? For up until recently, and by recently I mean apparently 4 fucking years ago this happened, Kanye's mostly, honestly, been politically not that bad. Like, he said that George Bush didn't care about black people, which I know nowadays that doesn't really... Oh my god, saying that George Bush, a Republican president, doesn't care about black people? Oh man, that's such a spicy take. But back then, that was actually kind of a spicy take for a large, celebrity, a massive celebrity, to just say the president doesn't give a fuck about black people. Like, that was a pretty big deal, and he said it on TV. However, you skip forward a good half decade or so. Half decade? No, it'd be more than half a decade. Well over half a decade or so. And then you've got Kanye saying shit like this.
I was drugged the out, bro. I was drugged out.
What you're about to see comes with a warning.
Everyone listen to this, please. 2 days before I was in the hospital, I was on opioids. I was addicted to opioids.
No, it's not especially graphic or obscene. It's just all very Kanye.
Do you feel that do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
In fact, maybe the most Kanye thing since...
I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Okay. I definitely feel like I was pretty certain that Kanye West is a bad person. Just generally kind of an asshole when he did this shit. This is without a doubt one of the douchiest things anyone has ever done. Like, people joke about it, like the "I'ma let you finish" thing. Like, it's become a meme and all that. But, like, in all sincerity, this is demonstrative of somebody who is extremely narcissistic. That when somebody else is getting an award, they go on stage, take the microphone, interrupt the person receiving the reward, and talk about how the woman they're in a relationship with had a better music video in front of a massive audience. And frankly, every single person who cheered in response to him is kind of a fucking cuck. I really can't think of a better description than cuck. It's just really cucky behavior to like cheer and clap to some narcissistic guy who's gone up on stage to take the mic out of the hand of like someone else who's gotten an award. To like, it's very delusional, right? Like, I feel like this was really the beginning of his downfall, at least as far as I remember. Yeah. Gotta remind everybody that his wife isn't a hobbit.
One of the best videos of all time.
Or...
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
That was based and true.
Today, West was sharing his love for...
I love the look on the other guy's face.
Black people.
He's like, God damn it, Kanye. You telling white people the truth again? Can't do that.
Today, West was sharing his love for a different president on TMZ.
I just love Trump. That's my boy.
But that was just the tip of the iceberg from an interview that will surely be talked about for
Here it
years.
comes.
I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all call Rob at the...
I really do think that if the people who are currently siding with Kanye and trying to build this cult of personality around Kanye West really cared about him or his mental health, they'd be talking about this. This right here is very demonstrative to me of maybe not what's caused Ye's mental state, but certainly what's fed into it. I think that like a lot of people can sort of forget that any famous celebrity like this, regardless of how much money or fame they have, is probably under a constant mental barrage of like insecurity building, like self-esteem draining, mental health deteriorating, like attacks, everything from like actual attacks they're getting online to just self-doubt. Narcissists are always about the image anyway. I think it's possible to be a narcissist who is still a victim of the like the rock tumbler that is the internet, right? And the public space. That interview was long forgotten, overshadowed by all the other dumb shit he's done. Nah, I think this is important to talk about. I think this is where it kind of, like, a lot of it began.
Wedding and made him fly home before me and Kim got married. I didn't want y'all to call me fat, so I got liposuction.
Plastic surgery.
I believe this, by the way. I believe that he probably got these, like, I understand that for some of you it may be like, well, he's narcissistic and cares about his image, so that's why he did that. But I think if many of you were under the amount of, like, magnifying lenses that somebody as famous as Kanye was, and like you were constantly hearing like I don't think you can understand. I don't think you understand. If you're a celebrity like this and you go to the beach, like if you go to a public beach, there's more reason than just because they have the money to do so that celebrities don't go to public beaches. Some of them do. And when they do go to a public beach, if they like for a split second, like take a deep breath and their like gut comes out, Like, you know how if you take a deep breath and your diaphragm expands, your like stomach expands? If you do a deep breath like that, like a full, like lung-filling deep breath, there's a paparazzi or some asshole with their phone out recording you or taking photos who is going to get that one photo of you looking like you have a gut. And you know what's going to happen when they get that photo? It's going to be on the cover of magazines, in the stores that you shop at, or online, or on Twitter, on your timeline. People are going to be making fun of it. A lot of people can't help but seek out people online talking about them. It's really hard to, like, you'd be surprised at how hard it is to resist the urge to look at people publicly talking about you, like, online. It's hard to resist that urge. It's why, like, name searching as a YouTuber is so, like, harmful, but it's a real thing. It actually fucks with you. It's hard to understand how much it can suck to be on the other side of that until you are on the other side of that.
He says that came with a prescription for painkillers that was followed by addiction. Then,
and guess what?
26.
If the people who are, like, defending Kanye and simping for Kanye and all of this, like, anti-Semitic Nazi shit actually cared about him, they'd be talking about this, but they don't. They talk about how, oh yeah, the Jews are trying to take Kanye down for speaking the truth. Not like, you know, I'm really worried about Kanye. Like he's like constantly, like everything that is happening right now is only exacerbating his poor mental state. Like I'm really worried about where this leads. Let's continue.
16 breakdown.
Rescue 41, psychiatric emergency.
I was taking 2 pills a day at that time. When I left the hospital, how many pills you think I was given? 7.
Then there was that thing West said about slavery.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and
I forgot that Kanye literally looked another black man in the eye and said, you, before, and then followed it with the slavery was a choice thing. I absolutely forgot about that. And, let's just watch. Let's just sit our white asses down and listen.
you hear about slavery for 400 years, for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
That was the comment that crossed the line for at least one.
That is almost like as bad as stuff that's gotten YouTubers canceled. So you can imagine that there was backlash. There was backlash from that, right? There's definitely some backlash. It's mostly fallen to the wayside in people's memory, but at the time, this caused Kanye to get a lot of shit in the media. And while nowadays it's not talked about much, it was still something that happened. And from that point on, Ye was basically constantly having this push-pull dynamic happening for him, right? Where on one end, you had the left rejecting him. And, you know, reasonably so, right? The stuff he's saying is pretty fucked up, right? You had the left kind of like speaking about him in a manner that would denote that he is a oppositional force in like our more progressive movement, right? And because of that, there really was no place for Kanye to go, realistically from his perspective, I would imagine, than more to the right. Because the right does the opposite of what the left does. The right wants more people. You've seen that Candace Owens and Kanye West have been hanging out a lot, wearing like the White Lives Matter shirts. Candace Owens, of course, being one of the most provable grifters in all of right-wing media. I did a video not too long ago, like a couple years ago, that broke down Candace Owens' history and how insanely heavy and obvious the evidence is that she's grifting, to the extent where she said that a certain phenomenon doesn't exist, and yet she's literally pushed for legal action against that phenomenon in the past. One example is she talks about how there is no such thing as like anti-black discrimination in colleges and in higher education, and yet guess what? People dug around in Candace Owens' records, and she sued her school for racism. She's also talked about how the left is lazy and likes to, and just wants to, have everything given to them for free. And as it turns out, she scammed one of her landlords out of a shit ton of rent money and left a house, I believe it was actually, either a house or an apartment that she stayed in, an absolute fucking pigsty, destroyed, requiring like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in repairs. And she just never paid a bit of rent and like managed to skimp out on it somehow. Yeah, so she's literally just paid to tell lies. Like, I really don't, like, it's sad, but like there is an entire possibly multi-billion-dollar industry in peddling right-wing propaganda, and Kanye has fallen for it. And I can't say it's unpredictable when you really consider all of it. Not only that, but he's gotten like considerably more and more deranged. Apparently, he's announced that he is okay. So this is from a few days ago. He posted this on the 3rd. He's already broken this, though. So I guess, well, there we go. I'm taking a 30-day cleanse, a verbal fast, no alcohol, no adult films, no intercourse. In God we praise, amen. But my Twitter's still lit. I'm not talking to nobody for a month, was the caption here. So I guess he's still tweeting. I'm going to guess that this is not legit. I don't think he's going to actually enforce a month-long not speaking to everybody. And, so he's basically announcing that he's going no fap, not drinking, and also not speaking. Deciding not to speak to anybody is the kind of thing a child does when they want attention, by the way. Like, that's literally what children do to get attention. So, like, on one hand, he's like, I'm going on a verbal fast, no alcohol, no porn, no, like, intercourse or whatever. So he does, like, the whole no-fap Christian thing, and no alcohol, which is also, I guess, sort of a fundamentally good thing, I guess, if you have a problem with alcohol. And he's, like, tying that in with this, like, deranged adult man having a child temper tantrum online. Like, at the same... It's very bizarre. This somehow got 335,000 likes, though, so if you're wondering how numerous his supporters are and how they're reacting to this, there you go. Now, what's really worried me about about Kanye West's recent, sort of descent into political radicalism is that he's also brought along his fan base. And much of his fan base, whether it be like hardcore Kanye fans or people that just sort of tangentially like Kanye, a lot of them are people that believe simply in the same way that a lot of TERFs believe that, J.K. Rowling being a woman who is famous, successful, and wealthy is like a feminist icon just for that, like just on that merit. They see Kanye West as almost like a not a racial justice icon, but more so as like a sign of like, well, okay, here's somebody who is disadvantaged or was disadvantaged, who fought the system. Because if you actually look at Kanye West's history, even like in the music industry, he's always had, or like especially in his early days, he had a lot of people trying to hold him back. He had a lot of like obstacles to overcome throughout his early days. And because of that, not only because of his skin color, but because of his story and his history in the music industry and his rise to power, to become such a massive celebrity, he's also become sort of this figure of like, I did it, if I can do it, then surely you can too. And so because of that, he's almost lent credence or credibility to ideologies that the same people that are now falling for this shit would have literally months ago recognized as horrible white supremacist Nazi propaganda. They see it as woke now. Now, part of this, population are, all right, I'm going to say this right now, okay? Too many white lefties and white liberals are too scared to say this, okay? But I am, all right? I'm stepping forward and I'm going to outright say it, okay? There is nothing about fascist or far-right anti-Semitic propaganda, transphobia, sexism, homophobia, any of that specifically appeals to white people. It's just been that for a very long time, white people in power that also hate all of those other groups have just kind of happened to also hate black people and like non-white people. So we're now kind of stepping into an age of a anti-Semitic, fascist, conservative uprising in America that is arguably multiracial. That is what is being pushed for here. And that's pretty scary. There is not, like, the stereotype of, like, a teen getting into politics on the internet, falling down the alt-right rabbit holes, like this cis, straight, white male teenager who likes to play video games all day, who's, like, a nerd and, like, feels as though women have, like, oh, he's a gamer and women don't like him because of that or whatever. Like, that's the stereotype of who falls into that sphere of online politics. And if the left doesn't realize that is no longer the demographic that is being almost solely targeted now, the left is going to fail in its messaging. Because right now, more than ever, fascism is appealing to non-white people. Simple as that. The right is making fascism appeal to POC youth more than ever. And I've noticed that a lot of this is perpetuated through everything from like Andrew Tate-esque like TikTok, YouTube Shorts stuff to like the music community online. Like if you look at certain parts of music communities online, you see a lot of it. But here's where I see it the most. Hustle culture. How many of you have gotten bored while scrolling through YouTube and clicked on a short and ended up getting pushed through the shorts algorithm and discovering hustle culture? It is really hard for me. It is really, really hard for me to explain what hustle culture is without really like doing it a disservice and how much there is to it and how many demographics and how many groups it seeks to reach out to. So if you've gone on like YouTube Shorts anytime in like the last 3 months, in my experience, you'll have probably stumbled across some video where it'll be some guy talking about about some social issue, and there'll be that like Sigma male music. I forget what it's called. Can I find it? Can I find the music they always use? What's that? Hold on. It's like, it's almost like borderline, like motivate. Yeah, Sigma Rule Song. Is this it? Yeah. You'll hear this in the background very often, you know, and it's like some guy who's like, listen, guys, listen up right now. You need to listen to me right now. Women do not care about that simp shit. And meanwhile, there's like some GTA 5 custom map gameplay where it's like a car driving through loop-de-loos in the sky or whatever. And it's like, listen, guys, women don't want to hear about this like simp shit or any of this. They don't want you to be nice to them. They want you to make fat stacks. They want you to be hustling. They want you to be wealthy. They want to see your car. They want you to have guns. They want you to be big. They want you to be strong. You gotta get up past all those other males out there. You gotta be above all the others. You are like a fish at the supermarket for these women. They need to pick you before these other dudes. Have you guys seen those shorts and those TikToks? They're very, very common. Sneeko and Andrew Tate are really good examples of like they're like the peak of that community, but they're like, imagine it like a pyramid scheme, because it is. Andrew Tate is the top. Andrew Tate and Sneeko are like the top of that pyramid. But as you get lower in popularity, the amount of people just like him making very similar content gets bigger, you know? Like there are countless nameless content creators to us at least, that have like still very sizable audiences on TikTok and YouTube Shorts that we don't even know about that are peddling this shit. And it's everything from like pseudo woke, like, I might get canceled for saying this, but I'm just gonna say what I've seen. It'll be like a black guy talking about how white people have kept black culture and black people and black like young people down for a very long time, and it'll be like, okay, this is going well, okay, I agree with this so far. And then it'll transition into, I think a good example of this is Kanye West and what the media is doing to him right now. He's talking about stuff that, if you really look at what he's talking about, it's actually true, but they can't handle a successful black man speaking the truth, so they're trying to put down what he's saying, just like they've always tried to do when a successful black man tries to speak the truth. And I'm like, oh God. How does my white ass argue against this propaganda? It's very much like the True Scum shit, right? Where like every time some True Scum YouTuber makes a video where they're bullying some 14-year-old trans kid and I respond to them, they're like, cis guy criticizing me, a trans person? You know your place, cis guy. It's like, oh, okay, so we're just doing the id poll now, okay. It is a little bit frustrating, but, you know, it is what it is. It's very frightening, too. A good example of this, I guess here's an example I retweeted recently that somebody in the chat linked me. Holocaust denial by blue check accounts hours after Elon fired most of Twitter's content moderation teams. Holocaust never happened, all fake news to water down what they did to our ancestors. Hashtag facts. I assure you, this has not been the only post on Black Twitter with this sentiment. All right? It is actually a real problem. All right? It's not just whitey, cis, het boys on the internet now that are victims of this propaganda or potential victims of this propaganda. I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of young, non-white, like Zoomers getting into far-right fascistic politics. And let's hope to God growing out of it within the next couple years. Let's really fucking hope. Anyway, if y'all enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. You know, it really helps the channel out a lot. It's completely free. It really supports my streams, my channel, me, all that, a lot more than I think you guys realize. It forces YouTube to push my content in the algorithm. If you want to also push my content more, you can comment down below and subscribe and ring the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or I upload a new video. And of course, if you want to see more from me online, you can follow all of my social medias, all linked down below in the description. And finally, if you want to support me financially and you want to, you know, help me afford to do all sorts of cool content for you guys and be able to move up to Seattle and all that cool stuff, then consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live. You can gift subs to white names in chat, those fucking whiteys in chat. You can gift them a sub. You can sub for yourself to unlock all sorts of cool emotes and cool little colored name and a little badge and everything. Or you can just, you know, donate on my website. But if you don't want to support me through that, you can also support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or through Patreon. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.